Okay, there are three different ways that we can solve systems of linear equations. Okay, the first one is called graphing. So go ahead and copy down the steps for me. Chizuki, can you help me read number 1, please? Great. Okay, so when you're solving systems of linear equations, step number 1, graph line 1. Step number 2, Autumn, help me read number 2.
Graph the second line.
You're right, graph line number 2. Then Olivia A, help me read step 3. Perfect. Okay. If they intersect that point, it's the solution. So normally we write your solution, it's an x comma y, which is a point. Now what happens if you have lines that are parallel? By the way, what makes two lines parallel? They do never intersect, but how do you know if the two lines are parallel? You're right, they have the same slope. So let me give you an example of two lines that are parallel. If you do not have a ruler, please go stretch your legs to grab a ruler from the back. All right, here are two lines. We are going to start with the first line in green. Kyler, how do we graph the green line? Where do we start? Good. Perfect. Nicely said. 2, 4. So you plot positive 4, which is a y-intercept, and your slope is negative 3 over 2. So you can go down negative 3 and then to the right 2. Technically, you can all go so up and left. Okay. Normally, I would like to make enough dots on my grid so I can have a nice straight line. Okay. What happens is if you guys don't have a straight line, your solution set will be wrong. So make sure you have enough dots to make a nice straight line.
Wait, is it negative 3 over...
Negative 3 over 2.
And
then plus 4. Let me pinch it back up. I know. Let me remove my ruler. It's frozen for right now. So okay, there we go. That's green. It's frozen, so I'm gonna wait for it to stop being, to get my pen back. There you go. I'm gonna put arrow in that one, arrow in that one. So that's okay. Now the slope for the red line. Okay, the slope for the red line, Melon's not here. So Megan L, what's the slope for the red line? Right, okay. Now where do we start if you want to graph that red line?
-1.
Perfect. Go down to -1. I'm going to use red to match with the red line. And then similarly, we are going to go down 3 units. Okay, so my pen is, there you go. 1, 2, 3 to the right by 2. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 to the right by 2. 1, 2, 3 right by 2. Up 3. 1, 2, 3 to the left by 2. 1, 2, 3 to the left by 2. 1, 2, 3 left by 2. Okay. As you can see, I have plenty of dots because I am terrified that I will not have a good enough line. Okay. Now, guys. How many answers do we have for this system? 0. You have no solutions at all. How come?
because they don't intersect.
They don't intersect, okay? No solutions for lines that are parallel, okay? So when you know lines that are parallel, you can write no solutions right away. Now, What makes two lines parallel again? One more time.
Same slope.
Same slope. I'm gonna write same slope. Okay. What makes two lines same line? Same slope and same y-intercept. So we'll make up two lines. As long as my pen decides to not when I stretch it or compress it, it like freezes. There you go. Okay. So line 1, y equals 1/2 x plus 3. And then line 2, y equals 2/4 x plus 3. Are the slopes the same? Yeah, how do you know? Yes, guys, this one, even though in our equation it's written as 2/4, but we need to always reduce our fractions. So when we actually do reduce that, these two are the same line. Okay, and a lot of times you think that they start at 3, 1, 2, 3. The slope is positive, so we go up 1, right 2. Do I need to graph both of these? No, since they're identical. Okay, we can just graph one. But technically, I can graph both. Okay. And again, the red line is going to be overlapping this purple line. Now, how many answers do you have? Yes, guys, because they intersect at every single, the solution is called infinitely many solutions, okay? That means I cannot count. There's just way too many for us to start counting. There's no way we can count it all. So when two lines are exactly the same, there are infinitely many solutions, sorry, with the plural. And then when two lines are parallel, there are no solutions. Okay. The rest of the time, guys, how many answers should you have? One. All right, let's practice the first example here. Go ahead and graph line 1, graph line 2. Wyatt, where do you start on the first line? Wyatt, what do you start on the first line? -4 on x-axis or y-axis? On the y-axis. 1, 2, 3, 4. Thank you, sir. Go up 3. 1, 2, 3 to the right 2. 1, 2, 3 to the right 2. Do multiple dots, y'all, because if you're solving by graphing and your dots are off or your lines are off, then that means your answer would be wrong. Line 1. Line 2. Sophia C. What format is line 2 in? Standard. Okay. Excuse me, boys. Thank you. Standard form. The easiest way to graph standard form is when we find the x and what? X and? X-intercept and then y-intercept. Okay. X-intercept, Trevor. X-intercept is when y equals to what?
0.
Perfect. Okay, so that means you have x equals 8. How do I write that as an order pair?
8, 0.
Perfect. Good job. So I have 1 point right away. 8, 0 goes right there. Y-intercept is when x equals to what, Devin G? Perfect. Okay. That means what's left over, Jake, if x is 0? X is 0. So what's left over for us?
2y equals 8.
Good job. Okay. That means we're solving for y, so we will divide both sides by what, Alan? Very good. Divide both sides by 2. That means y is going to come out to be 4. How do we write that as an ordered pair? 0, 4. Plot your dot number 2. 2 and 4. Okay, so we have 2 dots. We will make a straight line. Do we have no solutions, infinitely many, or just exactly one? Exactly one. Okay. What is our solution? 4, 2. Okay. So if on your homework or on your test it said write it as a point, that's what you write. If it doesn't say anything, can I technically write x equals 4 and y equals to 2? Yes, either one is acceptable if it doesn't say how to write your answer. Okay. Okay. These are the steps. We have 2 more ways to solve: substitutions and elimination. We'll leave the substitutions up for right now. Brandon L., can you help me with number 1 in substitution? Good. Pick one of the 2 equations. Solve for a variable. Dahlia, can you help me read step number 2 under substitution? Perfect. Once you have what x equals or y equals, take that and plug it back into the other equation. Hannah H., can you help read number 3, please?
Solve for the remaining variable.
Very good. Solve for the last variable. And last one, step number 4, Sophia N.
Substitute answer back into either equation and solve for second variable.
Good. Go ahead and copy that down, and then we'll go and practice on example 2. Now, if you remember these already from Algebra 1, go ahead and work on example 2. You don't have to wait for me. At tutorial, when you say tutorial, I always give you a context. Okay, if you remember how to solve by substitution in Algebra 1, you can totally get a head start. Okay? You can always come back and check our answers together at the end. I'm just going to wait for another minute for students to copy down these instructions. Okay, we are going to jump to example 2. Okay. So step 1 is that solve for one variable from one of the equations. My step 2 is on the bottom, so I'm just going to move up. Okay. First, decide what equation, first or second equation, that you would like to solve for a variable today. First equation. What variable is the easiest? X. You're right. Can you guys see that X doesn't have any number next to it? So it's really easy just to move the what? The 9 over, right? Because you're solving for X, okay? So we're going to try to solve for 9 to what? Adding 9 to both sides. So right away, you got X equals what? 3y plus 9. That's step number 1. Then step number 2 said to do what? Substitute. Yep. Okay, so guys, take this and plug into the other equation that you have not used. Now, every time you see an X, though, what are you going to substitute? That's right. Every time you see an X, you will substitute 3y plus 9. That's why it's called substitution. So here we go. 3y plus 9. Do I substitute 2y with 3y plus 9 again? No, we drop it straight down. So I drop 2y down and then drop the -1 down. Those two things do not have x variables. Now we are going to solve for y normally. Okay, Naomi J, what do you do next? Yeah, 3y plus 2y. Riley is what?
5y.
Perfect. 5y plus 9 equals -1. What is your next step, Mackenzie H?
Subtract 9 from both sides.
Perfect. Okay. So 5y equal to Benjamin J. -1 and a -9 will make it a?
-10.
Perfect. Next step, please. Hun, what do you do next?
5.
Good. Okay. Y equals -2. Good job, Hun. What do you do now? Take that and plug into either equation. Now, which one do you think is easier? Yeah, the first one is, don't I already know what x is? Can I just straight up go like right there? So I'm going to write x equal, that's right, straight up, -2, plug in for y, plus 9. -2 times 3, Nathaniel, is what? -2 times +3 is?
-6.
Perfect, -6. Drop down the 9. -6 and a +9, Santana is?
3.
Good. So how do we write our answer as an order pair? 3, -2, box that up. Okay. So how many answers do we have? One answer or two answers? One, right? Guys, even though they're two values, is one answer. That means these two lines intersected at how many places? Once. Okay. All right, next, last example is for, anybody remember elimination from Algebra 1? Yeah, I love elimination. You know what? I like to cancel things out. Okay. Okay, eliminations. Go ahead and write that in. I have a campus update to show you today.
Yeah, just last time.
So can you help me read number 1, Chris? Help me read number 1 under elimination, please.
Put equations in the same form.
Good. So under elimination, it's easiest if you put it in the same form. Normally standard, not all the time. You don't have to put in standard, but normally standard is the easiest, okay? Number 2, Emily C. Can you have me 2, please?
Decide which variable you want to eliminate.
Yeah, I love elimination. Like I said, I like to cancel stuff out. So step 2, now you decide what variable, because there's 2 of them, the x and the y, which one do you want to get rid of? Eliminate, okay? Step number 3, Alyssa W., help me with 3, please.
Multiply each equation by the appropriate number. Coefficient on the variable in the other.
Okay. So to eliminate, guys, the coefficients have to be exactly the same and the signs got to be opposite. So that's why it says multiply it appropriately. Okay. Grace L., can you help me read 4, please?
Add or subtract the 2 equations, one variable to be.
Good. Okay. So because now the sign's opposite, that means you can add and then it will be canceling each other. Diego, help me read 5, please.
Solve for the remaining variables.
Okay. And last one, Alan, help read 6, please.
To answer back in either equation and solve for the second
Very good. Okay. So I think some of us are still writing. I will give us another few more seconds. I finished writing. Now, if you remember how to do example 3, go ahead and get ahead and start without me. You can always catch up with me in a little bit. Because some of us are still writing steps, so I'll just wait for it. Yes, ma'am. Okay. All right, here we go. Last example. You have to decide between the x variable and the y variable. Wyatt, which one would you like to eliminate today? Why? Well, you have to decide, you have to make a very smart decision. You want to eliminate the variable that's easier. Okay, so between the x and the y, which one do you think for this example is easier to eliminate? The y. So why the y? Slater?
Because it's negative and a positive.
You're right. So that means I just now need to make the leading coefficients the same. The signs are already opposite. What leading coefficient do you think we need to make the y? So that way they're both exactly the same. 20. That means you're going to multiply the top by what? 5. Multiply the bottom by what? 4. Okay, so here we go. 7x times 5. Thank you. 35x. Okay. Negative 4y. Sophia H. Negative 4y times 5 is? Negative. Very good. 20y. Oh, this is, I'm going to need you to help me with this one, okay? Brian. 17 times 5 is what, bud? That's okay. I will take your time. 90? What is it? 85? Okay. Slater, 3x times 4 is what? 12. Okay. So this is going to be 12x. 5y times 4. Mariana, what do you have? 20y. Very good. 14 times 4. Lena D. 56. Beautiful. Okay. Now, what variable are we eliminating? Y. Look, they're opposites. Once you add, they are going to be gone. Okay. Maggie Rayhan, 35x and a 12x would make how many x's? 47 x's. Very good. Equals. Ooh, this is one. Now, 85 plus 56. How much is that? 141. Divide both sides by 47. Please tell me that's going to give you a nice number. 3. Nice. And if it's not, that's okay too. Okay. Once you have an x, what do? Which equation would you like to plug it in today? First or second? First, okay. And by the way, does it matter? They're both equally the same in this case. You can pick first, you can pick second. Okay, some of you said first, but just so that way we can be second as well. Should you get the same answer, even if you pick second? Yes or no? Yeah. Okay, 3 times 3 is what, Diego?
9.
Very good. So 9 plus 5y equals 14. What are you going to do now, Jake? Jake, what's your next step, hon? Good. Subtract 9 from 14. So we are going to have 5y equals to what, Devin G? I'm sorry, I can't hear you. 5, yeah. No, you might have said it. I just missed it. Okay. Now, next step. Adam V. What's next? Good. Okay. And Dahlia, y is 1. How do we write that as a point? 3, 1, and box that up. Okay. That is an egg roll for